What's up, Everyday Blades? Man, I had really hoped I was going to be coming home today and this was going to be a video about some awesome pawn shop treasure, a Spyderco Mamba that I scored. As you can tell by the thumbnail, it is not. This is not a Spyderco Mamba. This is a Spyderco Mamba clone from a pawn shop in Houston, Texas, along with a clone pouch. Now, I've been doing this a while. I've been collecting knives for a while. I've been buying knives at pawn shops for a long time. I buy a lot of knives, hundreds of knives from pawn shops. I've only one other time caught a clone, and it was a PM2, and this was early on, right? This was, I think I gave them $40, and since then I've known that when you see that many scratches on a blade, it's probably not real. And, you know, the scales didn't look real, but I didn't know back then. I've learned a lot since then, and this one got me. I mean, this thing feels real, and that's a bad thing. That's not a good thing. That's a strike right down the center. It's got bearings. It has all the proper markings. Taichung, Taiwan. Right? The only thing that gave this away, and I realized it pretty shortly after I bought it, I was actually still in the truck on the way home, was the scales. The scales on this one are G10, and I wasn't even aware they didn't make a G10 version until I started looking it up and noticed that every one I saw was carbon fiber. And then I was like, there's no way somebody took carbon fiber scales off of a Spyderco Mamba and put G10 scales on here. So after a little bit more research, I found the place that was selling them for $31. Now, I can't imagine someone putting the effort into this knife for $31. I mean, it looks pretty damn good. It fooled me for sure. I didn't even, the only thing was it was missing a screw on the pocket clip, but the rest of it, there wasn't a red flag for me. You know, especially at a pawn shop when it had the pouch with it, but it's absolutely 100% fake Chinese garbage. Along with this piece of crap. The only good thing is I bought this at a local pawn shop, and I'll go back tomorrow and get my money back. I think I paid about $200 for it, which, you know, I was excited as hell about because that's a great deal for a Spyderco Mamba in good condition. So this one I probably could have took back and got my money back, but I figured for 30, 40 bucks or whatever I paid, it was a good lesson and it was a good model to look at to make sure I didn't ever buy another one. I've found a lot of fake PM2s, but I've never bought another one since. So I can guarantee you after today, I probably won't buy another Spyderco Mamba clone. The reason I was excited is because I looked for like a year and a half, especially when I was really into Spydercos, for a Spyderco Mamba, and I couldn't find one. I couldn't find a single person that had one for sale. So I don't know if that's still the case, but, you know, they were pretty rare back then. I'm sure they didn't get any less rare over time. There are two on eBay for sale, one for $500 and one for $600. So, you know, $200 was a great deal if it wasn't fake. So keep your eyes out, watch for these things, and please, for the love of all humanity, don't buy these things. You might think that it's not hurting someone, or the very first thing and most important thing is you're taking you're buying a stolen product. You're buying a stolen design from the man who designed this knife. And if you've ever really thought about it, how difficult is it to come up with an original knife design these days and to have it be successful, only for some overseas company to come in and steal your design and make it for a fraction of what it's worth out of, you know, subpar materials. You would not want to be in that position. Please don't support it. The secondary aspect of that is I see guys in the group say, you know, I could never afford that. I just wanted to feel what it would feel like. Okay, well, when you get done with it and you sell it to somebody, maybe you're an upstanding guy and you tell the guy it's a clone. Then the next guy, maybe he's not so upstanding and he sells it to one of us. You know, a guy who's maybe been collecting for a few months and don't really know, and gets him for a few $100s. There's the problem. Yeah, there's not a permanent tag on here. This thing says Spyderco on it. It's illegal. You shouldn't own it. It's not even that it's illegal. It's just not. It's immoral. You just shouldn't own them. It's very difficult to come up with an original knife design these days, and I get that. Some knives look quite a bit like other ones, but it's a different thing when you're carrying somebody's logo. That piece of material should be in the garbage. And if for some reason they won't give me my money back tomorrow, I'm going to cut this knife up with a torch. I'm going to take the hardware off of it and cut it up with a torch. It will not be sold to anyone. I recently bought another knife, very cheap knife, just because I liked the way it looked. It didn't have a name brand on it. It turned out to be a Borka clone. I disassembled it. You know, once I found out that it was a clone of a Borka, it was the exact shape of a Borka. I disassembled the knife. I took the hardware off and I threw the pieces away. I'm not gonna be affiliated with it. I'm an amateur knife maker myself. If I come up with a great design and people started buying it, I'd be sick if someone else copied it and started selling it for half price or a third of the price. It's just not cool. It's something our community doesn't tolerate, and I'm glad they don't. We don't allow it in our group, and I don't want anything to do with it, and I hope you don't either. Anyway, the Spyderco Mamba clone fake piece of crap. That's it. And then don't be fooled by the way it feels. They did not make a G10 version of this knife. Nobody would ever take beautiful carbon fiber scales off and put G10 scales on one of these. No one would ever take the scales off anyway to kill the value of these, because they're worth, like I said, about $600 plus on a good day. So save up and buy the real thing. One of my analogies was when people say, you know, I just wanted to feel what it would feel like and, you know, have a knife that was close because I can't afford the real thing. Well, I can't buy a Ferrari, but I'm not going to go buy an aftermarket car that looks like a Ferrari just because I can't buy a Ferrari. I'm just not going to have a Ferrari. You know, there's some things that are unattainable, and they're that way for a reason. They're not for us. They're for people that have had, you know, better fortune than us. Be happy where you're at and with what you have. So, anyway, guys, you have a great night. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Good night.